Welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about an interesting thing that has happened to me around happiness over the course of many studies. And I want to share that with you. And this idea of transcendence, this idea of meaning rather than grasping with the left brain for happiness. So let's get into it. First, I was in the ashram and I was commingling in my mind all of these ideas about happiness and joy and bliss, and they were all just one huge blob. And I had to get in there. I had to get to the joy, right? And I would awaken my sympathetic system and get all excited. And I thought that that was the state that I was looking for. And I realized that I would get excited and peak, and then I would immediately deflate. And I'm like, well, okay, so that's probably not what I'm looking for. And I came to the realization, all right, all of this has to come out of peace. I have to establish calm and peace first. How do we do that instantly? Heart rate variability resonance, right? We know the trick. But I realized I have to establish that calm in myself first, and the joy will spring out of that. That was my first aha experience when it came to happiness and joy. It has to come out of peace. Down the road, I left the ashram and I started studying NLP with Tad James. And it was absolutely amazing because, a yogi, we're all about the mind, Raja Yoga. How can we use the mind? How can we train the mind? How can we train ourselves into these very, very deep states? And NLP was offering all of these profound and deep understandings about the subconscious and even about the higher self. It was really, really amazing. And right away, Tad said something very interesting. He treated happiness like it was very, very trivial and easy. He said people run around looking for happiness, right? And they make their happiness very conditional. I can be happy when I have that. Oh, when I get that, then I will be happy. I can allow myself to be happy if I would have that, but I don't, so I can't be happy. Well, that's all a setup inside of your brain, right? You're just setting yourself up. You're defeating yourself for happiness. He said, you can be happy right now. He said, go back in your past and remember a day, remember a time when you were so happy. And feel that happiness now, and now you're happy. And that was the end of the technique, and I thought, well, how interesting, how true, and it made the happiness seem very, very simple, isn't it? Happiness is very simple. In the same way that something happens to you in your life and you carry that memory with you, right? You hold it, and because of the memory of the thing that just happened, you allow yourself to be happy. Well, you can do that all the time. You can remember a time and hold that memory and be happy. Simply. Isn't that amazing? Now here comes the deep training. I started training Kriya Yoga with Ashokji, and one day I told him, this practice, I'm doing the Kriya, I'm doing the Om Japa in the chakras, and I will just feel happy for no reason. He goes, it's not happiness. And he yelled at me. I'm not doing it properly. He goes, how did he say it? It's not happiness. He yelled at me. He goes, it's not happiness. I'm like, well, I'm just trying to put it into words. He goes, yeah, I understand what you're trying to say. You're trying to talk about joy and bliss, which is arising naturally because of your practice. But you're calling it happiness, and you have to be precise with your language because happiness is dualistic. It's in this world of cause and effect. I have this, therefore I allow myself to be happy. That's cause and effect. It's dualistic. And there is happiness, and then when I don't get what I want, there is sadness. And so when we throw ourselves into that realm, we're back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We're on the edge of the wave in the ocean, and we're just getting thrown around. So happiness is dualistic, and therefore it's a bit of a trap. When you direct yourself towards happiness, you're directing yourself towards the pinnacle of the worldly life. You're directing yourself not inward, but outward. And so it's a trap. There's actually a book called The Happiness Trap, and it really is. Now, that book's a bit different than what I'm presenting here, still worthwhile for reading, but happiness is a trap. And so he yelled at me, and it kind of, I broke this idea of happiness a little bit, then I broke it a little bit more, and then he yelled at me, and it just absolutely finished breaking this idea, or started to be the real deterioration of this idea of happiness in my life. And I just kind of started giving up on happiness. And that's really kind of an interesting thing, isn't it? It's not that I'm going to be miserable. It's not that I'm going to be nihilistic. Absolutely not. So what is there? What's left? Well, there's meaning, there's family, there's love, there's joy, there's bliss, all the things that the householder Kriya Yogi is looking at. How do I make my life meaningful? Well, I have this wonderful deep meditative practice, and it fills me with meaning every single day. I have my family who I love, and I find more love through my practice of meditation. And through that practice, I uncover joy, and I even uncover bliss, and I uncover this profound sense of knowing in the deep brain. All of that, all of that. And so I set aside the happiness. It doesn't mean that I don't get happy. Something happens, it's great, and I go, oh, look, I'm happy. But I'm not concerned for it. I'm not grasping for it anymore. I'm grasping for meaning and love and joy and bliss and this profound sense of knowing and expansiveness. Those are the things that I induce in myself, rather than going out grasping for happiness. If there's something that I'm interested in, well, I go for it. I see if I can find a way to get that in my life. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm not overly concerned that this thing is going to make me happy. I don't look for that because I know that entire thing is a trap. Now, this might be a funny association, but it's a lot like living your life on good oils like avocados and runny eggs rather than living your life on carbohydrates. You know, you have some Chinese food and they say, oh my God, you're hungry in 30 minutes because it was all these noodles and carbohydrates, and you just get this sugar high and then you crash, right? But if you instead eat some runny eggs and some delicious avocados, that oil is a slower burn, and it just sustains you for a long time. And that's what it's like when you live with meaning and joy and bliss and love and profound understandings. Those sustain you for a long time. So you enter into this world an inch at a time, maybe, but you enter into this world of transcendence. And I have a video about these things and how they are transcendent. So they're coming out of, maybe they're not all the way out, but they're coming out of, they're pointing you in the direction of coming out of the dualistic world. So instead of clinging towards and pushing ourselves towards the dualism, we're pulling away. And that is guaranteed to be a much better direction in your life. It will sustain you much better Because if you look for the high, you're also looking for the crash. And so if you look for the happiness at the tip of the wave, you're also looking for the crash of that wave. But if you look at the base of the wave and you say, I'm going to look for these transcendent things instead, they will sustain you for massive amounts of time. So the life can be up, life can be down, I still have meaning. Life can be up, life can be down, I still found some bliss in my meditation. My meditation was good today. Life can be up, life can be down, I still have love. I'm still in love with the divine. I'm still in love with the higher self. I'm still in love with so-and-so in my family. And laughter. Life can be up, life can be down, but I can still laugh at a good joke. That's transcendent. Life can be up, life can be down, and yet there's this vast meaning which is revealing itself oh so slowly to me. We talked about John, that perspective from the higher self. It doesn't always happen like this. It happens like this huge tide coming in, changing our entire lives, changing very slowly our perspective. That vast meaning coming up inside of us. And so all of these things, even just laughing at a good joke, it is transcendent. We can be up, we can be down, life can be good, life can be bad. We can still laugh at it. It's hilarious. Here we are living in a divine comedy. Life is hilarious. And the more transcendent we become, the more we will have that perspective that life is absolutely hilarious. It's a divine comedy, isn't it? So what is the best transcendent program? Well, right here. Start out with heart rate variability resonance and keep going for proofs, sit very still, and then let go. And see where it takes you. See how those transcendent things begin to arise in your life. So I hope you love this. If you did, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see.